the convergence of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And we've already seen this start merging together over the last few years, but I really think next year is the year where it really, really takes off, especially when you see things like YouTube starting to basically look at television network, and television networks starting to look like the web and integrate the web more into their shows. And so just a few quick stats. September 2011, according to ComScore, at least in the US, 182 million people, more than half the population, watched online video. Of those 182 million, the average watched 19.5 hours of video content. And that number's only rising, and that number's rising even faster internationally, anywhere, especially in the developed world. And another key point, 50% of those people have been exposed to video ads. But I do think there's a problem, and I do think there's an opportunity here. So I think a lot of you know Hulu. Of course, most of you probably can't access Hulu because it's not available much outside the US, which I don't know why the hell it's still like that. I don't know why the hell. In any case, what the TV studios did, because the TV studios own Hulu and they stream their television shows through it, they just decided to copy the model that works for TV. They put out a base subscription model, which is the cable network versus the subscription fee for Hulu Plus, and then they put on advertising on top of it. But I don't think that's the right way to go about it. And while Hulu makes money, it doesn't make anywhere near enough money to support the premium content that they are generating. And it's the same for YouTube. YouTube's taken years to find a way to really monetize its content. I think in the next few years, especially next year, you're going to see people try to figure out a better way to monetize digital content. And number 3, the end of the real-time web. And I don't mean that information isn't going to flow fast. I don't mean that Twitter's not going to beat earthquakes, because it's always going to beat earthquakes. But what I mean more specifically is that we're going to find better ways to control the information that's coming at us. And we're going to have better ways to parse through all that information so we can understand it on our own time. And there's startups that are working on that. Companies like Trapit and My Sixth Sense take all the content on the web and they personalize it for you based on your tastes. But I think there are bigger solutions, better solutions that'll come in the next year or two. Of course, there are still big challenges that face entrepreneurs in the next year. And I want to talk about 3 of the big ones, or Mr. Wildcat wants to talk about them. Let's start off with number 1. And that is this financial crisis thing. You may have all heard about that, you know? It's not the fact that our money might soon be worth nothing. It's more the fact that we have this instability, we have this uncertainty, and this uncertainty, this cloud is going to be upon us for a long time. We have an issue where we had IPOs that were ready to go early this year. Now it's such a volatile market, people don't know whether to do the IPO, whether to not to. Entrepreneurs don't know if there's going to be money in the next couple months. Customers don't know whether or not to buy things or not to buy things. And you have to prepare for that. It reminds me of 2008, a presentation by Sequoia Capital, the venture capital firm that funded Google and a lot of the other big companies in Silicon Valley. In 2008, during the banking crisis, they told their startups it was the end of good times and that they needed to prepare their startups for a leaner time. I think they were right. I think they were just a couple years off. Number 2. The talent wars. So I'm sure many of you have experienced the issue of hiring great engineers. It's a big problem in Silicon Valley, and it's a problem that's growing across the world. The simple matter of the fact is there just aren't enough great technical talent, engineers, designers, etc., to fill the roles that are needed for a digital economy. And this is a graph that shows just how much employee transfer there is across the big technology companies, with Facebook winning currently, but the dynamics are changing all the time. But but part of the problem, like I said before, is that we just don't have enough engineering talent. So this is a graph from UCLA that shows that 34% of high school students are interested in becoming STEM majors. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The people that become the technical generation. Only 34%. But even worse, only 38% of them actually graduate in 5 years with a STEM major. And it's an issue that's affecting Europe and the US especially. They have a much better technical talent, or they have more technical talent over in China and India, and the imbalance is causing issues, especially in Silicon Valley, where the heart of a lot of the big internet companies is. And the result is that people are going to great lengths to get talent. Google is offering 6, 7 digits to keep some of their best talent, along with the famous perks, like naps, which I would like to take one right after this. But also startups are getting into things. So there's a startup called Hipster, which is a photo sharing / digital postcard startup that offered any person that could refer to engineer that it hired a year's worth of PBR beer. Just a quick raise of hand, who's actually had PBR beer? For anyone who hasn't, don't drink it. It's like drinking piss out of a can. It's bad. It's not, shouldn't even be called beer. Here's a startup called Amicus, and here's what they're offering if you join them or you refer someone. $2,000 in cash, a year's supply of coffee, a cow, a gym membership, an iPad 2, an Iron Man helmet, unlimited supply of your favorite beer. I don't know how they could afford that. And a fixed gear bike, which I also don't know why they did that. But it's really a gimmick, but you need to stand out, and they need to stand out in order to get this engineering talent. It's such a tough battle right now. File number 3. And this is the most important point here, and that is there are lots of ideas out there. And people come with me with all their ideas all the time, thousands of different ideas. But really, I think the problem here is a lot of people think if they just build one of their ideas, they just build the startup that they have in mind, it's going to be a success. If you build it, they will come. I completely don't believe that. I think the truth of the matter is that most ideas suck. I would say less than 15% of the ideas that I actually hear on a daily basis are ones I can see actually becoming profitable startups. And it's not that people are terrible coming up with ideas, and it's not that they're just dead-end ideas. By the way, this dog is staring into your soul. The problem is that most of the ideas I hear are just incremental ideas. They are incremental improvements to existing ideas, rather than the fundamental changing ones that redefine technology and society. And why are they incremental? Because it's easier to build incremental ideas. And it's even easier because it's easier to raise money for it. You only need maybe $50, $100, $150,000 from a few people, and you can go off and you can try to build your idea. I actually had a conversation though with a venture capitalist a week ago, and our conclusion is that we're actually doing a disservice to entrepreneurs by giving them such easy money to build ideas. Because in the end, a lot of these ideas just don't come to fruition, and people have spent their heart and soul 3, 4, 5 years on their ideas, and they end up with nothing, and more importantly, they don't end up with the skill sets that could have really helped them build a better business, or didn't get the truth from their friends. A lot of people are scared to say, your idea actually kind of sucks, you really shouldn't work on that. Also, it's getting crowded, and I'm going to pick on photo sharing apps because I can. So, we all know there's a lot of photo sharing apps. We all know probably our favorite. We all know Instagram. Just again, who uses Instagram? Yep, someone's using it right now. Nice job. But it's obviously not the only one. You have PhotoRocket, Pose, Pick Please, Path, which by the way changed its model to a more journal-style model, which I like. Batch, Color, which also changed to more of a video-based status update. And I can go on, and I will. I just want to emphasize the point that it's getting crowded in spaces, and there's only so many ways to tackle the same problem. How many of these do I have? Dear Lord. So, random point, please don't build a photo sharing app. Please, please, please. Also, don't build a daily deals app. For every time you build a daily deals, you pitch me a daily deals app or a photo sharing app, God kills a kitten. So please think of the kittens. The truth of the matter is, overall, it's really, really, really hard to change the world. It's really hard to build a startup, to build a company, to build something that makes people's lives better, that empowers them, that does more than incrementally improve on something that's already there. And I think that's why you're seeing more incremental startups, at least in my opinion. So before I jump off of the stage, I have a few pieces of advice. So does my cute little kitten here. I have a few pieces of advice for the entrepreneurs in the room. And let's start quickly. Number one, don't plant a flower, plant a sequoia. And what I mean by that is don't plant this pretty little thing that blooms, blossoms, and then disappears. Build something that lasts. A sequoia may not be as pretty, but it's going to, and it's not going to grow as fast as the flower, but it's going to grow, and it's going to grow, and it's going to survive harsh winters, and it's going to survive difficult times, and it's going to be there to last. Build something that lasts. Build a sequoia. Oh, reminder, by the way, an equation that a lot of my friends seem to forget. This is the easiest way to build a sequoia that lasts. Number two, be adaptable. My opinion is that great ideas always evolve, and so do great entrepreneurs. And what I mean is, I have had thousands of people talk to me about their startups, and I've given advice to thousands of startups. I would say about half of them take that advice and feedback to heart, while another half become very defensive and hurtful, and don't take it as a critique. You have to be able to take the critique, and you have to be able to distinguish when it's an attack versus a critique. Your startup is your baby, but you have to remember that not all babies are cute. And Facebook is a perfect example of evolution, where you see that was 2004, I remember when I first joined it. And not just the idea evolves, but the design, the purpose, the mission, the team, it all has to evolve fluidly. You can't just stick to the same plan you had. And so my last and final point here, number three, I'm gonna jump like this. Ooh. Number three, and this is my most important point, don't build a company, build a cause. Don't just build a business because you think it's going to make money. Build something that's going to matter. Build something that changes the world. Build something that you can believe in, you can get behind. Something that you will spend hours and hours on. Not because it's going to make you money, but because it's going to change the world. Because you know in your heart it's something that's going to matter. And you have to, Steve Jobs is the perfect epitome of this. Steve Jobs did not care about money. He got a lot of money, but that's the side effect. He did it because he knew he could change the world. And so I'm going to end my presentation with a quick quote from Mr. Jobs. I'm convinced that about half of what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. And so, while I may have told you that most of your ideas suck, if you truly believe in it, keep working, keep pounding the pavement, take in that criticism, and build something that changes the world. Thank you very much.